Hello, everybody. It's Matt again, and I'm here to record my presentation on contemporary poet. So, for my contemporary poet assignment, I have selected the author of Nobody, No One Is Talking About This, Patricia Lockwood. Um, this Patricia Lockwood is a writer who started as a poet. Her first collection came out in 2012. Can't recall the name of it, but her most recent collection of poetry is this one right here: Motherlands, Fatherlands, Homeland Sexuals, and it's a pretty engaging collection. Although I think Patricia Lockwood really herself is an engaging writer. The most interesting part of Patricia Lockwood's poetry is her voice, really, um, and how her voice exists as prose. Um, Her prose is fascinating. It's remarkably unique. Um, in my opinion. She has a very strong energy and character to her poetry, um, which is I will demonstrate. Um, she's relatively explicit. Um, so, like some of the poems I am going to read do contain explicit like sexual references and imagery. If you don't want to hear that, um, by all means, I don't blame you. She can be a little off-putting. She gained Lockwood gained notoriety for a poem called "Rape Joke," which deals with an experience in her life that she actually had, and it's a very interesting poem because of how she approaches the subject matter. That's really, it's a very very serious subject matter for her. Um, but the way she writes about it, um, it, I get the sense it's like she is trying to process like how this event happened to her. I'm not going to read that poem, but that is one of her more notable works. You can find that online. That was one of the poems that made her famous originally. Um, like I said, she has two collections out, um, and she also has a nonfiction memoir called Priest Daddy, which was released in 2017. And her most recent work, No One Is Talking About This, which came out earlier this year, actually. Received many rave reviews on sites like The New Yorker and The New Yorker. Um, that's where I read the review, and I read it somewhere else as well. And I read two reviews of the book, and I was like, well, if I read two reviews of this book, I should probably like just read the book and see what the hype's about. Um, so I'm gonna read a little bit of No One Is Talking About This. This is a section um, where Lockwood talks about Christmas, I guess, and I'm just gonna read it. In the White Elephant gift exchange, the most sought after gift was a rusted out, bug out box. You could do anything with it, exclaimed the Bitcoin uncle, the one who eventually nabbed it. Store your ammo in there. Bury it for years. Hoarding ammo must be just like hoarding wealth, she thought, and saw again the heap in the vault, the free spreading wings of the money eagle. If your body was a pile of ammo, how could it ever be brought down? If it was already buried, how could it die? My bud's wife is pregnant too, her brother said, sipping a gold inch of scotch with an air of meditation, his face covered with the re- requisite rusty pubes of his time. A bad guy has terrible internet poisoning. And the other day he says to me, saw my daughter's tits on the ultrasound. Looked pretty good. And I was like, damn, dude, really? And he just gazed far off into the distance and said, I don't know how to act. I've been this way so long, I don't know how to be anymore. The difference between her and her sister could be attributed to the fact that she came of age in the 90s during the heyday of plaid and heroin, while her sister came of age in the 2000s during the heyday of thongs and cocaine. That was when everyone saw everything got a little chihuahua and started starring in its own show. That's when we saw the whole world's waxed pussy getting out of a car and said, more. Remember this? Her sister said, and held up a screenshot of the opening of Paris Hilton's sex tape, which had been dedicated to the memory of 9/11. Ah ha 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 ha. They all laughed, together, the new and funnier way. So that is a little bit of No One Is Talking About This. It is written in a very interesting manner. It's very disjointed. Each paragraph is unique into itself almost. There's very little that forms an overarching narrative. All the paragraphs are broken up into small little sections. This is a section right here. This right here is a section. It's very disjointed, and it's pretty interesting. It's almost like reading her Twitter, but not like reading her Twitter. It's like reading Twitter, and that's what I think is particularly interesting about her prose, at least in No One Is Talking About This, is how she weaves together this. It's almost like a stream of consciousness scroll of human thoughts that are like human thought today, almost. How in conjunction we are with the internet, with memes, she has a lot of meme references in this book. I can't say that I necessarily agree with them or think that they will have staying power with the culture. But then again, we always need to translate old works because the references are out of date and we no longer use that language. Her prose is interesting. But now I'm going to read some of her poetry. This is a poem from the collection Motherlands, Fatherlands, Homeland Sexuals. The poem is called The Whole World Gets Together and Gangbangs a Deer. Bambi is fresh from the countryside. Bambi is fresh and we want him on film. He doesn't even know how to kiss yet. Lean in and part your lips, we say, and pull a slow strip off a tree. We shine our biggest spotlight on him. Our biggest spotlight is the sun. And under the spotlight the deer drips sweat. And what do deer like more than salt? Now look at the fawn and grow an antler, we patiently instruct him. It will grow from your thoughts like the ones on your head. Oh Bambi, says the fawn, oh Bambi. Fresh grass stains around the young mouth. Every deer gets called Bambi at least once in its life. Every deer must answer to Bambi. Every deer hears, don't kill Bambi. Every deer hears, don't eat Bambi. Every deer hears, look, oh look, it's Bambi. When the deer all die, they will die of genericide, of one baby name for the million of them. Then women begin to be called Bambi, and the deer understand what women are like light shafts of long blonde hair and long legs. The sun piercing through the Bavarian trees and the sun touching down on the dewy green ground. Then women begin to be called fawn, and then women begin to say, Bambi, oh Bambi. And they take their mouths are open, and they gape like a mouth when it takes a big bite of spring green. The spotlight shines down through the trees in long legs. This is the first movie most of us see. Small name for a small deer. Sometimes he feels all the deer could fit inside him. The movie we are making is this one. All the deer in one deer, one after another. Subtitles so we know what his soft sounds are saying. Mostly he says, the meadow, like the women who are Bambi say, God, oh God. What they mean is a wide open space, a great clearing. All the deer and us watching in a great open field. A great wide clearing in the face of the deer says, the meadow, and all of us watching. The deer's mouths are moving as if they are reading. But no, they are eating the grass. That was The Whole World Gets Together and Gangbangs a Deer by Patricia Lockwood. If you are interested in further reading of Patricia Lockwood, there are a number of readings posted on YouTube. Relatively few poems exist for free on the internet. Generally, I think you have to buy the collections to actually access her written work. She does a great job of keeping her poems off the internet. I'm not sure how, but you'll be hard-pressed to find any of her work on Poetry Foundation or anything like that. So that is Patricia Lockwood. It's a little taste of her writing. She is an interesting, engaging writer. I was drawn to No One Is Talking About This, and I ended up reading her poetry a little bit more. I definitely recommend No One Is Talking About This. It's an excellent book for anybody who's interested in a writer who I think embodies some of the most cutting-edge prose that can be consumed today. So, with that, I will say see you later. I'm looking forward to the rest of the class. It's too bad that we're asynchronous, but yeah. Anyway, have a great day.